What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Why We Love PlayStation VR. Sitting all the way across the city from me this week and every week is King of all VR Kings, the King himself. It's Jeremy King.
Yeah, you know, I'm so caught off guard because we have a guest that's so far away. I don't even know the distance. I couldn't even cast a fishing line that far. Where are you? Frankfurt, Germany?
That's very correct, yes.
Yay! It's OriginalUberb, bearded GaymeCat, or Alessandro. Yay.
Hi, everyone. Hi. I can't believe I just tapped. That's so weird. Okay. Hi.
Thank you so much for being here, man.
Thank you for having me.
We just filmed an entire Litterbox episode with Alessandro, so if you're interested in learning more about one of the loyalist game cats out there, then make sure you head on over to patreon.com/withoutparole games. And every week on Why We Love PlayStation VR, we dip into the PSVR archive. We pull out a game at random, we dust the blow off it, we play the crap out of it, see if we can give any love by the developers, any updates, any DLC, and then we let you know, the loyal game cats, if it's worth your time. Alex, what game did we decide to play this week?
You're asking me?
I am totally asking you.
Yeah, okay.
The spotlight is on.
We decided to play Until You Fall. Not me, You Fall.
Until You Fall, version
Until We All Fall.
1.05 by Shell Games, released September 29th, 2020 for $24.99. What kind of game is Until You Fall?
It's a hack and slash. Could we say that? Is that a good definition of the game?
Yeah, I'm going to go with arcade roguelite sword fighter. Just a heads up, guys, version 1.05 doesn't do all that much more than version 1.00 did. It is just a few various bug fixes, nothing substantial. The trophies that you can't get, I'm pretty sure you still can't get them, so we're hoping for version 1.06 at some point along the line. But I don't think that's going to affect our conversation all that much unless you're a Platinum Trophy hunter like me. Which means this is automatic 3. I'm sorry, guys. So I can't get my trophy. Yeah. I'm out of here. All right, man. Alex, I'm going to throw this to you.
Basically, you start this game up in this sort of hub where, you know, if you ever watched the Power Rangers TV show, you know, they had this kind of headquarters where there was this voice telling you what to do and what the enemy was. And it's kind of like that, you know, it's kind of like a crystal-shaped world. You're inside in this probably another dimension, I would say. It has a portal. You have all of your little things. You have your weapons on one side. You have a dummy that you can beat the crap out of to train. And basically, yeah, you've given a mission and say, okay, this is the world that's been corrupted by this and this creature. Just go through that portal and enjoy cleaning it up. You choose your weapons. Do you want to have 2 swords? Do you want to have a sword and a dagger? Do you want to have a sword and a brooch, which is super weird? Do you want to go into fight wearing a cute little brooch on your hand? Sure, you do that.
Yeah, the brooch on my hand like really threw me for a loop. I was like, I don't think this is helping me at all here. I need to give me something longer. Give me something with a blade on it because that's the only way I'm going to survive this. Because dude, I've spent so many hours with this game, and I have only beaten it on the easiest difficulty. This game is brutal.
You're not kidding. Brutal. You know, I only watched the Power Rangers to hopefully see the Pink Ranger in spandex. I remember that because the actress was pretty hot. But anyways, yeah. This game is pretty challenging. There's no doubt about it. You know, they give you a pretty decent tutorial because it's all kind of, you can walk, but it's very slow, or teleport, and you get an attack when you dash into an enemy and hit them. There's so many different ways to hurt enemies in this game that it gets a little overwhelming. Yeah. But it's kind of like not a bullet hell or a Beat Saber, but there's a rhythm to things, you know, because there'll be like slash marks that you got to swipe initially to really damage these enemies after you kind of break their guard, if you will. But they defend so quickly. It's almost like, you know, Neo at the end of the first Matrix where he's like, no, with the bullets, and he's just like this. Because you're sitting there and you're like swiping, and the enemy, ching, 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 and they block everything right before you hit. It's insane. But yeah, this game is extremely challenging. There's a lot of layers to the simple aesthetic of that combat. You know, it seems simplistic, but there's so much layered within it. But not like too much, but almost kind of too much. I don't know. What did you think?
Yeah, it's I like that it's challenging. Although I like games that they give you a challenge, but at some point they also give you, okay, yeah, this is the challenge, but this is the way to move on. So when you have to smash against a wall like so many times, it gets kind of frustrating for me. This one doesn't, because you can always go back and select a different settings, so different weapons, or if this didn't work, like going with two swords, maybe you can use a sword and a dagger, or you can use the axe and the sword. So you can always try something else.
The challenge here is, I think, is kind of perfect, because you take those first steps into the game. It's one of those games where you see the first boss and you die immediately, and you're supposed to die. Like I don't think the game even lets you get through that without dying. But then you get into the actual game and you take down a couple enemies at best, and then you're dead, and you're like, oh Jesus, I didn't make any progress at all. And it sends you back to the hub that Alex was talking about, and you get to take things, the stuff that you accumulated, the ether, is your currency, and so you can upgrade your character a bit. You can buy new weapons, and then head on out and try it again. Yeah. So there's a little bit of a grind here, but so the game rewards you for continuing to play it, and like that's where the game gets a little bit easier, because you're grinding and buying stuff.
Yeah.
But the part I liked more than that about the challenge was that I felt like I was getting physically better at the game. So like at first when I walked into the game, I'm like swinging my swords like this, and I'm just kind of casually like, doing okay. And then fast forward an hour, and I'm like, and I'm like, I'm acting like I'm really getting into it, and I'm slicing and dodging and parrying and whatever, the whole thing, and I feel like the character.
Yeah.
Then suddenly it's like every single time you play and die, you take like 10 more steps than the last time, and I love that.
Yeah, it's like Groundhog Day, except instead of doing all the good deeds and learning all these skills that Bill Murray learned in Groundhog Day till eventually the day moved on, it's like you die over and over and over, but you go further and further and get more and more powerful and understand how certain enemies. And I mean, the anger you get when you make it to a certain point and an enemy fucking takes you out, and it's like, you piece of shit, and it's like, it gets you so pissed off, and then you go back. And that's what I like in the beginning. There was so many options. Every time you defeat a little area and you're able to move on, you get to pick one of 3 different type of upgrades or power-ups or healing type of a thing. And eventually, I started thinking about it. I used to grab them and just be like, this seems good. And then eventually it's like, no, I want this because I want to upgrade that later. Or I'm going to sacrifice getting this health now because I'm going to take that ether or whatever the fuck it is and use it to buy my skills later on.
Yeah,
so that when you do die, you're back in that little hub area, and you can upgrade your weapons, left hand, right hand, and add these little additives to them to make them more powerful and have status effects and these abilities. And there's just that you start realizing you can really start feeling more powerful and going through, and you're like, yep, think,
Yeah, like I remember when I started the game the first time, I was kind of like going through it, just like shaking my move controller. I was like,
yeah.
And then I realized when you did the interview with Dave Bennett that they designed the game so that way of playing actually doesn't work, because he said, like, if you move the move controllers too fast, at some point they stop responding. I was like, oh, that's why I'm dying so often. And that's why they said, okay, let's actually take the time to parry, and when they're down, you strike. There's no need to just charge into them and kill them in a second. Also because you cannot. And most of the times, unless they're like the tiny ones with the branches, they're so cute. They're like do you know the little piece of crab from South Park? They kind of like the one with the with the peanut in the head. They kind of look like that. Yeah. And so yeah, that's it's fun, and I like when there's I don't know, they kind of look like the kings from the Lord of the Rings.
Oh yeah.
The ones with the crown.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. The one that at some point get the super boost and they become yellow glowing, and they do this super combo, and you have to shout like ha 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 ha.
Yeah.
Ha, ha. That's fun until you miss one, and then it's a mess because they start hitting you like boom, 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 boom.
It's like dominoes. Yeah, they hit you once, and just all of a sudden you're like, no, oh. It's like, toast.
If we didn't really frame this very well, this whole game is made up of just 20 short little areas, like really small areas, right? And you go in and you kill a bunch of enemies in that area, and then you get to these crystals at the end of that short area, and that's called the bloom. Now, this is where the roguelite stuff
Oh,
starts
that's how
coming
it's
into
called?
play. The bloom? Yeah, absolutely.
Cool.
And I love there's definitely some randomness that happens here. You get the three different power-ups that show up in front of you.
Yep.
And this is where I have to admit how bad I am at a game I've spent over 200 hours with, Spelunky, one of my favorite games of all time. I've spent over 200 hours with that game. I can only beat that game if luck is with me. If I happen to get a compass early, and if I happen to get a jetpack like in the first half of the game, then I can beat that game no problem at all, right? But it's
Well,
all
that's because you like jetpacks.
I do love jetpacks. Come on, Impulse Gear, Farpoint 2, we need it. But this is a very similar thing for me. It's like, so I can't beat Spelunky unless luck is on my side, and I can't beat Until You Fall unless luck is on my side, because I need to get a health crystal that gives me one extra HP.
Yeah.
Very frequently, like by the time I'm at the end, I need to have like 11 to 14 health crystals, because I'm not good enough, like just physically in the game, to be able to survive without all those health crystals. And so if I just know, as like I progress through each of these 20 stages, and I'm like no health crystal pops up in the bloom, another one doesn't happen, another one doesn't happen, another one, and I'm like starting to sweat. I'm like, I've only got 3 HP and I'm halfway through the game. Like, I am totally fucked right now. And so that's what makes me want to get better at taking advantage of the other power-ups in this game, so that I can play it in a different way, utilize my special powers, which we didn't even talk about, that each of your swords has.
Mm-hmm.
I would like to say that it caters to your personal playstyle, but it doesn't. You have to kind of cater your playstyle to what's happening in the game.
Yeah, totally.
That's true. I mean, I first went with the whole health crystal thing, so that I could get more and more and more. At least I have like 7 or 8 of them. I never got to 14. I wish I got there, but 7, 8 was the maximum.
Yeah.
But then I realized that having too many health crystals made me kind of sloppy, because I was like, yeah, I have enough. Like, if they hit me, it's fine. So when I play and I have like 3, 4, I really have to, cherish my health. And I was like, oh, be careful, do your thing, take your time.
Yeah.
There's some upgrades that are super good. I found one upgrade that I think I only found in one playthrough. And it was something that made you, instead of having to physically dodge the attacks, you could actually just parry them. So all the dodge attacks turned into parrying, which was super good. I found it once. I don't know if it's like kind of a rare thing to find, but it was super good, because I didn't have to. It's for the lazy like me. It's like, I don't have to move anymore. I just have to.
No, because that's one thing. It's like and then doing all this shit. Yeah. I wish I found that.
Yeah, and sometimes I just like dodge on one side, and maybe wanted me to dodge on the bottom, and just like get smashed in the head. I was like, yeah, that's me again, getting smashed in the head.
Well, now I've got to ask, since we're on the topic, like, what did you guys think of like the physical aspect of this? Did you really enjoy it? Did you get like a workout, or were you like, Jesus, can it just fucking lay off of the movement?
I do enjoy it, yes. At first I was like, that's not much of a workout, really. But that's probably for the first couple of areas. But then when you go on and you have 6 enemies and they're all like higher level, it gets into a workout, because they stop attacking you politely like they do at first. They attack you one at a time, and they're like, I'm going to wait my turn. You kill that dude first, then I come in. They start getting like, I give you a couple of hits, and then the girl comes and is like, oh, hi, I'm the Shadow Dancer. Bam. And then the other one comes. So that becomes a workout, definitely. So that's an aspect I enjoyed. There was one thing of the whole game that I really didn't like, and it's the click turning thing, because that's what makes me die all the time. When you have 3 enemies attacking you on 3 sides, and you're rushing, sometimes you forget which button is what. And you're like, oh, I'm turning, and then it's too late, because you already have the exclamation point saying an attack is coming from this side, and you turn around and boom, knife in the face. So
I had the same exact thing, where it's like, workout wise, like in the beginning, it's like I wanted to be lazy with the game. I just wanted like, come on, die. And then, it's starting to realize, all right, no, I got to block too. And then I started getting really into it, and then started turning to enemies, plunging towards them. And yes, I found that when it got more complex and I wanted to get more into it, the whole disconnect happened between the movements and my brain. And so it did keep me, I mean, the colors,
Mm-hmm.
and all that stuff is one thing that, so you're playing a game. You can't really get into it too much because it's very fantastical looking, which is great. I love the aesthetics of it. But it did disconnect me when it came time to the controls and the movement. And when I wanted to be quick and good, I would sometimes do the slow strafe when I meant to quick turn, and just I had a lot of issues with that. So, there was a few times that I certainly got a sword to the face.
Yeah, there was something strange with the click turning, and it's kind of like a fast, smooth turn almost. It's segmented turning, but it's not what you traditionally think of click turning as.
The music, I
Oh my
want to
god!
say,
Oh my
if you
god!
like
How did we not talk about
electro
this?
synth music, it's amazing. It really brings me back to the times when I was a kid and I went to the arcade and I was playing Golden Axe and this kind of really. I think that's kind of the game, like with the. It was fun, like good memories, and the music is really good. I think that music makes for me a good chunk of a game. Like, why is a game good is mostly for me also because of the music. And the graphics are great. I mean, it's a colorful. It's a you fight, but it's not dark and earth tones. It's very bright and fantasy world. Even the enemies, they're like
Silver Pine Forest in Warcraft.
yeah.
It's a little like that look, a World of Warcraft. It's got that colorful look to it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, definitely. I mean, I didn't play Warcraft, so like this for me, this was a kind of a look that I really hadn't seen before, and in the music, I didn't even think about that. It does really have that feeling of being a kid in the arcade and just like this blaring music and stuff. It's absolutely perfect, and even the voices when it goes, rise again and like
sound like Hela from the Thor movies. Kate Blanchett, it
Yeah,
sounded like her in those, So there was what it was good voice acting. The sound effects were awesome. Ba-ching, 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 like that. It had that old arcade type of a sound to it, and it was satisfying, even though it didn't mesh with like a sword clanking on something. It meshed totally with the game. Just that sound that made you feel like you were doing some damage.
Yeah, all this sounds like it could be coming out of a '90s like Mortal Kombat arcade machine. Like all of it just seems like the intensity. Yeah, I love it, man. That's great.
And I think the game has a ton of replayability as well.
Yes.
Like it really gets you to go back and play it again, even after months that I've had it. It's still fun, and it's not a game that you have to spend tons of hours altogether on. You can just go in and then go until you fall, basically. Half an hour, then half an hour it is.
All right, man. Well, let's rate this sucker. Jeremy, what's our rating scale?
All right. 1, you got to buy this fucking game. Like, pause this video and press purchase on PlayStation Network. 2, don't hit pause. Just finish watching this goddamn video. Wait for a sale and then hit purchase on the PlayStation Networks. 3, watch this video, hit like, subscribe, and don't ever buy this fucking game on the PlayStation Network ever, because you'll fucking hate it. So 1, 2, or 3. Who's going first?
Oh, Alex is going first for sure.
Super solid 1. It's a 1. It's fun. You can replay it as much and as long as you want. The music is great. The aesthetics are great. It's user-friendly in terms of how it lets you approach the game and teaches you things about the game, so it's not frustrating. I think that the tracking is very good for a VR game, for a PSVR game. I would say I've never had problems with tracking. And it's good. It's colorful. It's fun. You can wear a brooch and makes it look like Sailor Moon. So, for me, it's a super plus. And Sailor Moon here. That's this one. Yep. And solid 1.
I knew the Sailor Moon thing was going to come up. We even got that question into the Dave Bennett interview.
Exactly. That was me.
Mm-hmm. Man, I gotta say, man, like I started this game up today and I hadn't played it, I think, since I did the first review on this, and I was like, oh, this is gonna be a lot of fun. I can't wait to play this. And I jumped in and the controls were fucking terrible. I was like, why is moving forward and moving backwards a button that we've never used before? how come my turn buttons are strafing? How come? And I was so angry at the game. I was like, come on, Shell Games, how come you couldn't have just given me the thing that I needed to jump back in? And then within 10 minutes, I was like, yes, here we go. This is so much fun. I love this. Everything's great. And like all of those concerns were gone because it was just like, okay, I immediately like kind of fell back into the rhythm, and I just got so roped in. Because I've only, like I said, I've only beaten this game. There's 4 difficulty levels. I've only beaten it on the easiest one. And so now it's like, having just played it for an hour before the show, I need to beat it on the next difficulty. Like I'm already addicted again. Like somebody just gave me another shot of heroin. I'm back in, man. I fell off the wagon. I'm ready to go. Let's do this. It's so good, man. It's so good. It's so difficult, but I think that also makes it really fucking rewarding when you actually beat it, right? The game at no point says, "Oh, you know what? We're gonna give that one to you." Never. It's like, no, you lost, and you're going all the way back to the beginning, bud. Good luck. And so when you do beat it, you feel really good. You feel like you deserved it. And I want to feel that feeling again on the other difficulty levels. This makes me kind of upset that I gave Killing Floor Incursion a 1 last week, because I played this and I was like, no, this is a 1. This is what a 1 is all about. It's so good. You look at the trophy list. The campaign is called the Shattered Woods campaign. You go to the Shell Games website, and they definitely make it sound like there's more campaigns on the way. So like, I think they're going to treat this like I Expect You to Die, and we should get a lot more content at some point. And I can't wait, man, because this is so much fun, and it's definitely a 1 for me. It's difficult, but rewarding. Jeremy, what about you?
So for me, jumping into this game, I initially, I'm not a fan of these type of games. That I always say this when I play a game in VR. I'm not a fan of this type of game. And then eventually it's just like, all right, it's way different in VR. So I become a fan of it. Yeah. And so with this game, I thought the aesthetics were great. I thought the sound effects were awesome. They really made me feel, like I was doing damage in like an old arcade type of game. Yeah. The prompts on the screen kept you moving, like so you could block and block and block. And it was very real. In I don't mean realistic aesthetic wise. I mean real in like you have to earn it. You did not block this, so you got hit. You weren't even close. It needs you to be here, and you're here. Well, you fucking got hit. You needed to be here. So it made you be accurate, and it was spot on, like you were saying, that the controls, I had 0 issues, and I did like the rinse and repeat. The whole Groundhog Day, get better, upgrade, get back out there. And for all of that, the positives, it's still not my type of game. So when I got to rate it on the fact that it didn't win me over and make me being like, I got to jump back in this game. Did I enjoy it? And I loved, not loved it. I enjoyed it, and I had a good time. I can understand and see why people could get hooked. For me, it's just a solid 2 on the terms that it's a great game, and I had fun. I played it throughout the week, and today with the kids, I played a little bit. And the kids thought it was funny. They're like, "Oh, you died again?" And I'm like, "Yes, I died again."
Wow, you really suck, Dad.
Yeah, right. And then I had to turn it off when I was just like, "You piece of shit." And then I'm like, "Oh, I got mad at this enemy in the game, and they killed me." And I said, "Piece of shit." So kids thought it was funny, and I was like, "All right, that's it for me. No more playing." But it's a fun game, and I think the look of it's great. There's a lot of depth to everything that they give you for what they have, because it's very limiting if you think about it. You're just, dashing towards things and having little mini sword fights. But it just seems so much more than that besides just little mini sword fights. And that's all it really is. So, I mean, for me, it's a 2. It's a good 2 because it was worth it. I think it's worth it for a discount, because it's something you can jump in here and there, play, and But for me, it can't be a 1 because it didn't make me fall head over heels in love. So yeah.
Jeremy, let me tell you that right now it is on sale on the PlayStation Store, 25% off, no plus required. Is that the price that would work for you? $18?
What is $18?
$18.74, so $19.
I feel this is a solid $15 game.
Wow.
So close.
So frequently. So frequently, I just smile and nod when you do your rating. And today I kind of want to reach through the screen and slap you.
Wow.
Because this game
That's
is
it.
way better than you're giving it credit for.
Yeah.
Oh,
I know you like it, but
Yeah,
but
I
I
like
think
it.
I think you should love it.
Now I feel bad because I thought it was called Why We Love, but for you it's just Why I Enjoy,
Yeah.
Why I'm meh, why
Why
I'm fine with it,
it chubbed me up. I got chubbed. That's
why
all.
I tolerate.
Wow. Wow. Well, I think that's probably going to do it for another episode of Why We Love. Make sure you let us know in the comments below what you thought of Until You Fell. Did you think it was a 1, 2, or 3? Are you still aggravated that you can't get that last trophy? I know I am. I'm just kidding. I've got way more trophies to get before that happens. Are you looking forward to some more DLC? Did you pick it up already? Did you buy it on sale? What happened, man? Let us know what you thought of the game. Also, let us know what other games you want us to play. The list keeps getting longer, and I should probably add this in. Do you want to be on the show? Hit me up, man. Send me an email. Let me know. Maybe hit me up on Discord. It's like we got all these awesome game cats making appearances.
Yeah.
It's like maybe you will be the next cat on the show.
Right.
That's it, man. Alessandro, thank you so much, man, for hanging out with us.
thank you.
This was
Thank you
really a
guys.
treat.
It was super fun.
Like viewer takeover intros and stuff are one thing. People like we see somebody for 5 seconds or 10 seconds and they introduce themselves. But actually getting to hang out and talk about my favorite thing in the world with some of my favorite people in the world is one of my favorite things to do.
Right.
In the world.
For another episode of Why We Love PlayStation VR, my name is Brian Paul.
I'm Jeremy King.
I am OriginalUberb, the bearded GaymeCat.
And we'll see you next week.